It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Let's talk about Gordon Ryan and steroids and the Brazilian Jiu-jitsu community and the fact that everybody stronger than you is on steroids. If people are succeeding, it's clearly because they're cheating, right? Because nobody could possibly ever outperform you, ever. Because you're a man, right? Fairly recently, Gordon Ryan went through some hard times. He had some digestive problems to the point where he wasn't able to eat food like a normal person. And it may have cost him his athletic career. It may have cost him his ability to continue competing in Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. But he got some medical help, and he's been fighting this battle with digestive health. He's been able to eat more, and he made this post on social media where he said this: "The power of food is amazing. You can work as hard as you want. You can take as many steroids as you want, but if you don't have the fuel, it doesn't matter. For so long, I haven't been able to eat more than an infant, and I've suffered tremendously as an athlete because of it." And then he goes on to talk about some of the measures he's taken to come back from this huge setback. Now, because of the phrase he used, "you can take as many steroids as you want," the folks in the BJJ community who already believed that he was obviously on steroids because he's a big, strong guy with visible muscle striations, clearly overpowering many of the other competitors, jumped on that as evidence that clearly Gordon Ryan was abusing steroids in addition to the fact that he was having digestive health. No, this is not an accusation of Gordon Ryan using performance-enhancing drugs. Absolutely not. I simply want to open up a discussion about some of these topics. Now, this got my attention in particular because of two reasons. One, believe it or not, I actually get accused of using steroids on a fairly frequent basis, which to me is hilarious, is absolutely hilarious. I'm 42 years old, and I have visible abdominal striations, and that is enough to trigger a lot of people out there to start saying, "Oh, that's impossible without chemical help. Ooh, you must be taking the juice because I can see your abs. Oh, you got big old quads. What? It must be steroids. It can't possibly be the fact that you squat and deadlift religiously. It must be steroids. That's impossible." So that makes me laugh because people that accuse me of taking performance-enhancing drugs clearly do not understand the potential of performance-enhancing drugs. Now let's break down a little bit of what Gordon Ryan is saying. The power of food is amazing. It truly is. The first time I ever got accused of taking steroids, it was a couple years after I retired from professional fighting. And as a professional fighter, I had two issues holding me back from putting on muscle. One, I was really poor and I couldn't afford a lot of food. And two, fighters always have to stay within certain weight classes. And so there's not a big incentive to bulk up because then you're going to be the little guy in the bigger weight class. And that makes fighting so much harder than it already is. So after I retired from professional fighting and I started coaching full-time, and nothing but coaching, I quickly realized there is absolutely no advantage to being the little guy in the gym. So I thought, I'm going to put on some strength, I'm going to start lifting seriously, I'm going to put on some muscle. Because there are some big, beastly guys who come into the gym on a regular basis, and they want to roll with you, they want to spar with you, they want to test you physically, and if the coach is a wimp, that doesn't really set well with a lot of people. It's not very good marketing if the coach can't physically do the things that he's teaching you how to do. So I thought, okay, I'm going to lead by example. So I got into the weight room and I changed my eating routine. I started adding a lot of food. I basically doubled my caloric intake, and I put on a lot of weight fairly quickly and a lot of strength fairly quickly, which is pretty normal if you go from not even a baseline level, but like a sub-baseline level of strength and weight. Like if you're some scrawny, underfed adult, like a walking skeleton, and then you start eating like a bodybuilder, for example, 6 meals a day, snacks in between, protein supplements, etc. And then you bulk up a little bit, put on like 30 pounds, and you look pretty good, and you've got fairly low body fat and abdominal striations, it raises some eyebrows. People start thinking, hey, what are you taking, dude? I got asked this question all the time. What are you taking? To which I would respond, food. No, seriously, what are you taking? Listen very closely, I'm going to tell you the secret. Plants and animals. I put them in my mouth, I chew them up, and I swallow them. It's amazing. Food is amazing. It's like this hidden superpower nobody talks about. So what Gordon Ryan is saying here, to me, sounds absolutely nothing like, I'm speaking from experience as a steroid user, but rather somebody who has gone through the experience of not being able to eat. And I've had this experience too. Back at age 21, I ended up hospitalized for over a year because of digestive health. My digestive system simply stopped working. This can and it does happen. I had a case of appendicitis. In fact, it was intermittent appendicitis that came and it went and it got misdiagnosed repeatedly. And so I had digestive issues for a couple of years before going into the hospital. But age 21, my appendix burst and I was hospitalized. Had the routine surgery of the removal of the ruptured appendix, which is a lot more complicated than it sounds. If they remove an inflamed appendix, that's actually minor surgery. They can do that with a laparoscope now. They poke a tiny little hole in you with a little camera. They suck it out and they stitch you up and you can be out of the hospital the next day. But if it bursts, it's a whole different issue. They essentially have to gut you like a fish. There's a 6-inch incision from my navel on down. Big old scar, giant one. And they open you up, pull your guts out. They got to wash off all that pus and stuff, cut some bits off, stitch you back together, stick all your guts back in your abdominal cavity, and staple you back together. And it's a long healing process. But that wasn't all. There were surgical complications. Surgical complications of this already complicated surgery, and I ended up needing 3 more surgeries on my intestines because they kept shutting down. And for the better part of a year, I was barely able to eat enough to survive. And when I was hospitalized, I wasn't able to eat at all. So 3-month intervals lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to tubes and machines, and the only nourishment I got was a saline solution. That's salt water through an IV into my veins just to make sure that I just didn't up and die. Now, when I went into the hospital, I was over 200 pounds lean. And when I got out, I was about 90 pounds. Now, I've been through these yo-yos of size and strength over the years due to medical issues of digestive health. And I have gone up to 200 pounds lean at 6'1", and even peaking over that, looking, pretty good, muscle striations, muscle mass, etc., and then back down to that skeleton again, that 90-pound skeleton. And this has happened multiple times throughout my life, and people are always shocked, understandably, by body transformations, radical body transformations. Because we tend to look at a picture of a person and think, oh, that's permanent. It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not. You can change the way you look within seconds simply by posturing. Puff up your chest, stand up straight with your shoulders back, look serious, look confident, look happy, and flex a little bit, and you can look like a fitness model, especially if you have the right lighting. Maybe shave your chest, oil yourself up a little bit, make those striations pop, get a tan, put on some bronzing solution, something to make your skin stand out. But you can do the absolute opposite just by relaxing, slumping, looking sad. And within 2 seconds, you could create a perfect before and after radical body transformation picture. I've done it. Check this out right here. And if you want to go more extreme, you can, lift a few weights, get a pump going on, dehydrate a little bit, get your veins popping out, eat a banana or some high carbohydrate food before you get that pump in to make the veins pop out even more. And within a couple of minutes, you can go from looking like a regular schmuck to looking like somebody on the juice. Looking nice and beefy if you already have a basic athletic build. So these fitness model advertisements, these pictures we see where people are posing on the internet, can be extremely deceptive. Man, I put out a picture recently of myself shirtless and wearing some Vale Tudo shorts, and I'm just taking a bathroom mirror selfie, and people are like, oh, that's photoshopped. That's photoshopped. You're not that big in real life. And I suppose that's because people are seeing me making videos like this, where I'm standing in front of a camera, where you're seeing my head, a talking head video where the head is the focal point, and the body is in the background, farther away from the camera than my head, so my head looks so freaking huge because of contrast, right? What if I put my body closer to the camera and my head farther away? Suddenly my shoulders look so much bigger. Anyway, what I'm getting at here is that we fall under these illusions of strength and size so many times. So I've had comparable experiences to what Gordon Ryan is going through right now, where I was not able to eat. And when you can't eat, you get really, really weak. So I understand 100% where he's coming from saying this. This is not an admission to performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know if he has taken performance-enhancing drugs. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. That's not what I'm arguing. What I'm telling you is that the point he is making is a very salient one, and I think it's been unfairly criticized by many folks in the Brazilian Jiu-jitsu community and the strength training communities to justify accusations of steroid use. Again, if you are not eating, I'm going to echo exactly what I said. If you're not eating good food and you're not able to eat enough food, you will not be able to perform. One of the most common questions and also complaints I get from people who train in combat sports for the first time is, I don't have enough energy. Man, this is really tiring. Should I do more cardio? And the answer is usually, you should probably eat more good food and less junk. Do something like take the soda out of your diet and replace that with water. And take the fried Cheetos out of your diet. I don't know what people eat. But take the garbage out of your diet and replace that with whole foods, plants and animals, stuff that grows out of the earth or has a mother. Stuff that you can trace back to nature in one simple, easy step. And eat more of that stuff. And your energy levels will go up, and your athletic performance will go up substantially. So, tell me what you think about this whole Gordon Ryan scandal in the comments below. And tell me what you think about the power of food. What is more important, the vitamin S or food? Good, whole food to push you toward athletic excellence. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.